we do have a lot of things that we do want to talk about today. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is I want to talk about some of the things that are happening in the world. Now, I'm not a big believer in the fact that sports and culture should mesh that much. I really don't like when ESPN goes on and on about politics, or, I don't want to hear this guy's opinion of Trump, or how this guy likes Trump, or this guy doesn't like Trump. I don't want to hear all that when I'm watching sports. It's an escapism. But I also understand, I'm also not naive enough to not understand the fact that there's nothing going on right now. So there are no sports. So what we can do is we can talk about what's in front of us. And for me, I'd like to talk about not necessarily the protests, which I'm totally fine with. I mean, I'm in favor of everybody having the same rights. Anybody that knew me, that knows me, that has been around me, knows that not only have I worked with a lot of different cultures of people, which I'm super lucky about. I moved to Miami when I was young and was exposed to so many different people that I probably wouldn't have been from where I originally came from. But my circle of friends is very, very, very cultural, extremely cultural. My best friend is black. My girlfriend is Asian. I've lived with a Brazilian girl. I've lived with a African American girl. I mean, I've just been. I think I lived with a Brazilian girl at one point, which is just terrible. But so I've really experienced a lot of different things in my life, and I'm super lucky about it. And if you ever met somebody that was probably more socially liberal than me, I'd like to meet that guy because he'd probably be pretty fun to hang out with. But I'm about as socially liberal as it comes. So, but while I get that disclaimer out of the way, I will say that it's a shame that I have to make that disclaimer. It truly is. It truly is that before you have a conversation like this, and before you talk about a topic like this, you have to explain to somebody who you are, because if you don't, and even though I have done that, there is a very good chance that somebody will call me a racist before this is over. So somebody very well could be in the comment section right now writing racist. It's very possible. It may have just happened now because I suggested it, which would be funny actually, but please don't do that. By the way, if you are interacting with this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. That would be cool. But here's the thing. The NFL recently has been pushed into a position where they're going to have to make a choice about the anthem again, and about whether or not they're going to allow people to protest and kneel for the anthem for racial injustice. And I'd like to say this, and this is going to be something that I think should have been said 3 years ago. And I was saying it privately, and I was saying it to friends, and I was saying it when I was going to meetings and stuff like that. I was telling people that kneeling was the absolute worst thing possible. Kneeling was the worst thing that ever happened to racial injustice. Now, let me tell you why. Kneeling was the worst thing to ever happen to racial injustice because it took the conversation away from racial injustice and turned it into the flag. That's reason number one. That was reason number one. You have a topic that you want to discuss. You have a topic that you want to talk about, and you are now taking the topic away. You are changing the topic because you have decided you no longer want to talk about that topic. You want to talk about the flag. You've changed your own topic. You had people listening. People were paying attention. You have a platform, and you destroyed it by doing an extremely divisive act. Now, when you started the act, you had no idea it was divisive. Of course, you didn't do it to be divisive, but once you found out that it was divisive, you didn't change. You didn't stop. Now, whether you want to blame that on Colin Kaepernick, which I think he takes a tremendous amount of the blame, because I truly believe his intentions were good to start. I believe his intentions were good to start. I think it snowballed and it got worse for him. So the more attention he got, the more he thought, oh, every week I need to top this. I need to do something else. I need to get more players involved. I need to wear socks with pigs on them. It just became such a divisive thing of like, listen, nobody that I know, at least, nobody that I know and nobody that I've actually ever heard has ever said, I want racial inequality. I think that somebody with brown, black, orange, yellow, blue skin should be less than me. I've never heard somebody actually say that out loud. Now, I've also never been to a Klan meeting. But I'm sure if you went to those, it's a little different. But it also is my understanding that white supremacists and Ku Klux Klan are so minuscule, according to the FBI, that they barely exist in this country. So the majority of us truly believe that everybody should be equal. So you're taking something that we can all agree on, and you are putting a line down the middle of it and saying that you need to choose to be on this side And if you don't, if you give up your belief that you shouldn't kneel, sit, or disrespect the flag at any point, then you are a racist and you cannot be part of this movement. So those people who were pushed off to the side because they didn't do the cause the way you wanted them to, didn't want to be in your cause. They didn't want to be in your club. Why would they want to be in your club? How is that so hard for everyone to understand? If you want people to join you, you have to do something that unites them, that brings them to you. You know, the same people that are standing there now telling you, me, and anybody else that will listen, that are standing there saying to people, hey, you know what? If you don't do this, if you don't do this act, if you're not okay with people kneeling, then you're part of the problem. That's not a conversation. That is you demanding something. You're demanding. What's funny is you're demanding equality, which is fine. You should have equality. We should all be equal. But you're demanding equality, and at the exact same time you're demanding equality, at the very same time that you're demanding equality, you're not giving the people that you're talking to the same equal right to believe in what they choose to believe in or what they have to believe in. Sometimes these aren't even choices. You know, as a kid, I remember going to school, and in school, they make you stand for the national anthem. You have to take your hat off for the national anthem. You can't sit down for the national anthem. You go to a ball game. If you're sitting down, people are looking at you and shaming you because you're sitting down. You shouldn't be sitting for the national anthem. You know, there was a Beyonce and her husband Jay-Z needed to make a statement at the last Super Bowl because people thought they were sitting for the national anthem. So they had to come out and say, oh, we would never do that. So you would never sit, but you would kneel? I'm confused. Everybody's confused. So if anybody asked me, and believe me, no one did. No one asked me at all. But if somebody asked me and said to me, hey, what would you do? Well, the very first thing I would say was get rid of the knee. Get rid of the knee. And I would tell people, listen, we heard you. We heard you say that this is something that upsets you. And we have decided as a collective that we are not going to do the knee. We're not going to kneel. And instead, we're going to do this other thing. And we invite you, the same people who were upset about the knee, to join us week 1 of the NFL in doing this thing that we're going to do. It won't be kneeling because that's divisive. It'll be this brand new thing that brings everyone together for the same idea, and it makes a statement that everyone can get behind, even the NFL. Because guys, here's the other factor that no one's talking about. The NFL makes money. Like, that's their job. Their primary reason for existence is to make money. That is it. They're not there to make their employees happy. They're really not even there to make their fans happy. They're there to make the advertisers happy. And hopefully they can sell some tickets to get enough people to fulfill the stadium. But, you look at the Jets. The Jets haven't made their fans happy in 25 years, and they're still selling tickets. So at the end of the day, that was a Jet joke. Sorry. Anyway, so my point is, the NFL is not obligated to do any of that. The NFL is obligated as a company, as a business, a fiduciary responsibility to the people that own the businesses inside their umbrella, the team owners, to make them the most amount of money possible. When you do a divisive act like kneeling, you get people that want to, not because we're in this whole cancel culture. You get people that want to boycott advertisers. You get people that want to like stop buying certain products because this guy advertised on a station that kneeled, or people stop watching, and then the ratings go down, and then Fox and CBS or whoever owns the rights this year, they start complaining because they promised their advertisers X amount of rating points when they sold them the advertising, and now they're in trouble because, you promised me this many people were going to see my commercial, and only this many people saw my commercial because the ratings were down. It's a trickle-down effect that affects everybody. Just find something else, guys. Find something else. Trust me, it'll be in your best benefit to find something else.